Joker venom. We're not going down that path again.
No.
Are we going to have something funny in the beginning of this one, or is literally me saying, are we going to have something funny in the beginning of this one being the funny thing in the beginning?
I think that'll be the fun. It works for me.
Works for me. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the All Things MSP podcast. I'm your host, Justin Esgar, and with me always is my good friend and podcast host extraordinaire, producer extraordinaire, good friend, and pirate, Eric Anthony. Eric, what's up, buddy?
That's right. Pirates everywhere. That's why we call it the All Things MSP crew, right? Is just because of my affinity for pirates. I'm doing well. Excited about this topic this week. It's been a hot minute since we had a guest. So if you're looking to be on a podcast, please look us up, atmsp.link/podcast. You fill out the form. We make you a guest. It's easy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yeah, we do have a guest coming up today. I'm very excited. Why don't we bring him up? Mr. Gene Rich from Traceless. What's up, buddy?
Me. Good to see you both.
So real quick, before we tell everybody why you're here, why don't we tell everybody who you are? Gene, give everybody a 2-minute rundown on who you are, what is Traceless, and also how many cups of coffee have you had yet today?
Okay, good question. As I'm drinking one right now, so we got some fractional cups in the equation. So Justin, you and I know each other. We both have Apple-focused MSPs, so that's where I started my career in this kind of industry in 2005, right? So own and operate an Apple-focused MSP, and then in 2019, after getting completely freaked out about a vector in my MSP, I started Traceless with my wonderful co-founder, Peter Segerstrom, who doesn't get a lot of, podcast and webinar time, but is a wonderful, brilliant conversationalist and a good engineer, a great engineer. So that's me.
Great engineers run the world.
Yeah, that's true. Engineers do run the world. Tell everybody a little bit, real quick, like a one sentence, what is Traceless?
So Traceless is advanced threat protection for modern communication.
And for those who want to speak English about it, what does it do? What's its core function?
So if you look at the way that we're changing our style of communication in the business world, it's really drastically moved away from email, fax, and phone, and moved towards more digital and new, not necessarily new, but like people are using ticketing and chat a lot more than they used to carry on critical conversations pertaining to their business internally and pertaining to their relationships in collaboration with vendors that they might be engaging or supporting business with. And I brought up fax. It's actually pretty funny. I had to get a copy of a document, and it was urgent. And the guy at the IRS was like, "Yeah, I can fax it to you."
Yeah,
I was like, "Okay, but you have email,
doctors,
right?"
Yeah, well, no, but doctors still use faxes because it's HIPAA compliant. So real quick, the reason we wanted to bring you on, Gene, and I'm going to let Eric explain this one better because he knows the details, was the other week, Eric and I were talking about the MGM breach, and we had talked about security, and I immediately was like, I need to call Gene and have him come on the show and talk about his product because I think he could have solved the MGM thing for them before it happened. So Eric, give us the rundown on the MGM breach.
Well, from the stuff that I've, read and collected, basically what the bad actors did is they impersonated an employee of MGM. They actually looked up the employee's information on LinkedIn, and that's the information that they used to impersonate that individual. And so then they called into MGM's IT help desk, and in a call that was only about 10 minutes long, they secured the necessary credentials to access enough of their systems to infect them and eventually end up with Okta credentials and I believe administrator access to their Azure tenant. And so with a 10-minute phone call, these people brought down, a $33 billion company, basically. Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal. And this is, yes, the dollar value is astronomical, and the effect on MGM is huge just because they're a large company. But this same level of effect, a complete blackout of somebody's systems could happen to a small business because of this exact same problem. And because, I was an MSP a long time ago. This is back when, you knew who you were picking up the phone with, right? You didn't need to have these verifications. But now you don't know all your clients. You don't know all the employees at your clients personally. And so you have to have something in place now that will deal with something like this. So this is why we brought Gene on, because I noticed some social media that you guys were posting about, the MGM breach and some of the things that Traceless does to prevent those types of things. So Gene, can you give us a little more explanation of your understanding of how the MGM breach happened? And then, let's talk about some of the things that your standard MSP can do to prevent that type of invasion.
Yeah. So to go back to an earlier question, there's just shy of 5 cups of coffee today. So, I guess it's not helping. I forgot to answer that question. But yeah, it's and Eric, I don't know if you specified this, but it was an MSP who was doing help desk.
I did not see that in my research.
Yeah, as far as I understand, it's probably not going to get 100% who and whatever, but it's really tough. This is like when one of us as a company type gets hit, it's bad for all of us.
Right.
Yeah. And this is actually the impetus for starting Traceless, right? Was hearing about vectors that MSPs were experiencing in very sophisticated attacks. And I think all of the attacks that cause great amounts of damage are a real combination of simple walking in open doors or knocking the right door, right, for it to be open, and then piecing together complex information, right? And we as MSPs hold a very fundamental and important part of these keys to castles for all of our customers. And so that was in 2019, we started Traceless to have an easy way to send or receive sensitive information without leaving it at rest. Another huge breach this year was the MoveIt breach. I don't know if have you guys talked about that at all?
No, but I did hear about it.
It's a total cluster. It's bad. It's bad. It's hundreds of really big enterprise customers, some government customers, and their paradigm is securely storing sensitive information, and our paradigm is not storing sensitive information, right? It's kind of like we're at this place of zero trust everything, right? That's like, it's almost hearing zero trust at an IT conference is almost like hearing generative AI at a developer conference. You know what I mean? It's kind of annoying to that extent, right? So we're going to take it there today.
Yeah, but we
help desk and zero trust sensitive information, right? Because we can't.
I find it funny because I suffer for this as an MSP when I need to share a password with somebody, right? And there's so many tools out there. We have IT Glue, we have 1Password, and I sometimes have just resorted to texting somebody, and I realize that if I've never texted them before, I will queue them up to be like, you're going to get a text message from a phone number with this area code. And then I text them and I say, hi, it's Justin. And they say, hi, it's Eric. And I say, for security purposes, what company do you work for? That's not a security question in any way, shape, or form. But part of me is that's good enough for me to recognize that I'm at least texting the right person and I'm not mistype their phone number, and therefore I know it's them, and I can give them the password. But like, it's not the most secure thing in any way, shape, or form. And I know there's a lot of people who, a lot of MSPs like, what's that website, One Time Secret? But like, in order to access One Time Secret, you're sending them a link with a password to the link to the One Time Secret. So it's just like a catalyst on top of one another. You're not actually protecting any data. That's all smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Not the MSPs aren't doing anything actually to help. And I kind of feel like what your product is doing is fixing that problem.
Yeah, we're trying to offer an easy way for people working to make better security decisions, right? So at the same time, a lot of security is annoying, right? It's expensive and annoying. Selling to MSPs is the same as an MSP selling to their customer, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to do the hard work. It's costly. Humans are really tough to manage. If you're a person listening to this, you're in this boat of people are hard to manage, right? So we try to make it easy for people to make the right decision and give them a tool that also provides a very seamless customer experience, right? And I think that even when you start talking about deeper forthcoming breaches, a lot of verification is being handled on static information, right? Read me your badge number, right? Tell me the phone number, tell me your cell phone number, tell me your birthday, right? Whatever it is. And I don't think that that's good enough. I mean, the craziest one that we heard of was probably it's a decent sized mid-market company, like 3,000 to 5,000 employees, and they were having people email their driver's license in to verify the identity before being able to do stuff. And the IT department was kind of laughing when we were telling them about our paradigms around leaving sensitive information at rest. And we're like, gee, this is bad.
Well,
but people are trying. So shout out to them for trying something, right?
yeah. And
But there are better ways.
that's the thing that makes Traceless really interesting to me, because I was talking to a chief governance officer probably about 3 or 4 months ago. And we were having this conversation about how important it is not to hold on to data that you don't need. And that's exactly, from what it sounds like, what you guys are doing is the data only exists for as long as it needs to fulfill its purpose.
Yep. Yep. And then it's removed from the internet permanently.
See, I like
and
that part.
it's counter to the way that we think about architecture
Yes.
from where we are today, like redundancy everywhere. You want email on 20 servers so that in case 5 of them go down, you could still email people stuff. But that means your data is replicated to that level. And that's a problem for some classifications of data. It's
Exactly.
just
So how does the MSP use Traceless? Are you integrating with certain PSAs? Is it a standalone thing? How do we get to that level of better protecting ourselves?
Yeah. So on a base level, Traceless has a standalone application anyone can use to send or receive sensitive information. You can gate it with a two-factor method with SMS as well. I think one of the nice things about that is maintaining your ability to communicate with people the way that you want to. So if you want to send a link through SMS, if you want to email them a link, it's fine, right? It's not going to, your risk exposure is pretty low, right? Um, but for MSPs, typically they engage with our integrated product. So like I was saying before, in trying to make it easy for people to make better decisions, the application integrates into ticketing systems. So current integrations are ConnectWise Manage, Autotask, and ServiceNow. Halo is going to be coming at the end of this year, Justin. So I know we've talked about that. And it takes about 10 minutes to set up, integrate, and then you're off to the races. So from my perspective, that's how most MSPs are using the tool. That's how somebody listening could go and start protecting their help desk and their overall ticketing system. We are very excited for a Slack integration that's coming any day. We're just kind of getting the last bit of bugs out. It's a really good thing because we're getting into a chat ecosystem, which is a little bit different than the paradigms in ticketing. But we're also really proud of our sensitive data detection application that is coming with that. So very soon, anybody who uses Traceless can reduce their exposure to sensitive information being left at rest in these communication platforms, Slack, Teams, ticketing, things like that. So it's pretty fun. We got a lot of really exciting stuff that we're on the cusp of.
So we've talked a little bit the why and the stuff like that. So let's walk through this, right? What's going to be the way I want to send you a piece of sensitive information. I got this really hot ticket item I want to send you, right?
Yeah.
How does your system, how does Traceless differ in the respect, like, what is it? How am I still protecting myself to know that it's you? Like, I understand what your system is doing. I understand it's getting rid of the data when it's done. But like, even at that, like, where is the authentication from your side as the recipient of the data? Without going too much into the secret sauce, right? But like, how do I know I'm still actually talking to you? Like, what does Traceless require from the end user in this case to prove that they are who they say they are?
So we're just doing it. We started in a very simple format with predefined cell phone numbers and SMS messages. We're moving to deeper authentication application integrations. So we're also very close to launching Duo. So if you gate your entire identity ecosystem behind Duo, you'll be able to use Traceless to send a Duo push to verify that person's identity.
That's cool.
So that's how it is today. Something to be said, though, is that we haven't even talked about is the future use of voice AI phishing.
Yeah.
This is going to be another, like, all the signs are pointing in MSPs needing to do this work, right?
Yeah.
It's annoying, but like, your access to data for all of your customers, I would argue, is as or more valuable than a banking login, right? So if banks do this, why aren't we?
Right. Because MSPs have access to the banking and then some. It's
Everything. You
everything.
could ruin a business real quick for encrypting all devices, going in and changing domains, email, like, it is everything. It's the same value that we're selling to our customers. Hey, you use technology every day to run your business. There's not a more critical thing that you could invest in than having that be protected and running smoothly. Hire my MSP. Right. This is the sales pitch, right?
Well, and the interesting thing is, because I've been doing this a long time, right? I've been doing this so long that back when I started, computers were still a nice to have in the business. They were not a have to have. And so everything didn't revolve around the technology back then. And so there wasn't the risk to the business if the technology suddenly disappeared or was unusable. Today, in less than 30 years, that has completely flipped upside down. And now a business literally cannot exist without its technology.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking as we've been talking about the smishing, right? SMS phishing, smishing, which I've talked about this before. I think we should ban Google Play gift cards from the entire planet. But the amount of people who have gotten that, like, hey, they get an email and says, "Hey, give me your cell phone number." You give them the cell phone number, and you're giving your cell phone number to the bad actor, and the bad actor is then going like, "Hey, I'm the CEO. You don't have my phone number in my secret phone number in your phone book. That's why you don't know this number. So I need $1,500 worth of Google Play gift cards." I'm thinking about how that whole thing plays out, right? Where some person kind of similar to the MGM thing where they went on LinkedIn, they found out who the people are, they were able to pull names or whatever. But like that person who's receiving that text message is blatantly unaware of everyone else in the organization and in some way to authenticate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that as like the catalyst that, or do you see that as like a place where Traceless can stop that from happening? Not, I mean, obviously you can't stop smishing. That's not what the product does, right? But like that whole the authentication against who even the CEO is beyond the MSP authenticating for private information. Like, how do we get there? And is Traceless like, I don't know, maybe you are, maybe you're not, I don't know. But like, how do we get to that point also in terms of like providing internal security for clients other than just going over to the intern and being like, no, that's not their phone number?
Yeah, I mean, I think that again, when we think about protecting communication, it's a pretty deep thought. Just the opportunity is great, and there are a lot of exchanges that happen that should be underprivileged, privileged access to that person, right? Whether it's a personal identifier or a peer-to-peer thing. I mean, I think it's definitely. So this is sorry, I'm kind of ranting, but it's like we say, and not everyone agrees with this, that identity today is not 100% solved. And I think we're seeing the evolution of identity on the internet. And that has a lot of different meanings, right? But identity and access and the application of that in systems and society is in its early days. So I think that there's a lot to explore in what you're talking about. I wouldn't say it's like probably our like top thing, but
Yeah.
complex methods for identity verification that involve more than just a push, or it's definitely on our roadmap. And I think we're going to get there. It's going to get annoying for people. It's unfortunate, right? But this is how it is, I guess.
And that's kind of what's, I mean, security, that's where the worst part of security is, right? Because it's annoying for people and nobody wants to deal with it, and nobody wants to have to put up with it in order to protect themselves from being secure. All I think about is that intro from the original Get Smart TV show where he walked through the 45 doors. Like, nobody wants to do that to be able to like go Google what the meaning of eat your own dog food is.
One of the best
Gene,
intros to a TV show ever, by the way.
no, Honey P. Gene, where can people find out more about Traceless online and sign up for your product?
Yeah, so we are going to be moving fully over to traceless.com. So, previously in all the existence, it's been traceless.io, but you can find us today at traceless.com and, get in touch, hit me up on LinkedIn. I mean, this was like, again, going back to where we started this conversation, is an MSP got hit. One of ours got taken down, right? This is a problem. We are passionate about the MSP space and helping protect MSPs. That is why I started Traceless with Peter. So if something jived with you, reach out, let's talk, and no one's perfect. Also, I mean, one of the things I didn't add is that when I started Traceless, we were emailing passwords, right? So I'm happy to admit that a practice that we had started 10 years before that never got evaluated. But the second I realized how dumb that was, I was petrified, right? And that was coincided with, how do you know who's calling? Because this was starting to happen in 2019, right?
Yeah.
So everyone's on their own evolution. And so I just like to encourage people to do their best. It's hard owning a business. It's hard owning an MSP. There's support in the community. So reach out and, we could work together to improve the overall posture for us as MSPs.
That's awesome.
And maybe we can do an additional office hours episode where you could actually take people through a demo of Traceless.
That sounds fun.
Sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a warm circle here between the two of you. So I just appreciate you having myself and letting me talk a little bit about Traceless and some of the challenges that we're all facing as MSPs, especially after this breach. I mean, again, this was one of the top breaches of 2023. It's not over yet, but it's at the top. So it'll probably be top 5, right? Yep. So we all need to think about what that means.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thanks so much, man, for being here. And I'm excited to see what comes with Traceless in the future. I mean, Eric, real quick, like between just you and me, like I've seen the modality here. Something happens and someone comes up with a product that solves it, which is amazing. The MGM, I mean, Traceless was around before the MGM breach, but it was based on those kind of processes. I've seen things. I don't know if you remember Richard Branson had an island, Necker Island. There was a fire there and he like lost all of his data. And a friend of actually Gene and I, this guy had a backup company and went and then was like sold him on all of his backup and took care of Virgin Group. Like these are the things that we got to do. And this is what you can do as an MSP also. Like I know you're as an MSP, all of us think that our wheelhouse is, fixing things, but there's ways to go beyond that. And that's what the All Things MSP group is all about. So find us more. Facebook.com/group/allthingsmsp. Go to our YouTubes. It's youtube.com/@allthingsmsp. Follow us on all your favorite podcasting apps, even though you're probably using that to listen to this one, unless you're on YouTube, and then you can follow us on podcasts. It's very recursional. That's it for us this week. I'm Justin. That's Eric. That was our guest, Gene. Thanks for listening. Bye! What's up, everybody? Welcome to the All Things MSP podcast. I am your host, Justin Esgar. With me always is my good friend, Sorry. I usually don't. I'm nervous. I like Gene too much, and I'm nervous. I'm getting antsy about him. All right.
From your host, Justin Esgar, and myself, thank you for listening to the All Things MSP podcast. Join the All Things MSP Facebook group or follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. The All Things MSP podcast is a BizPow LLC production, and even though we drink a lot of it, this podcast is still not sponsored by Liquid Death. And now that you've watched that mess of a podcast, don't forget to watch one of these and go ahead and click that subscribe button so you get to watch more. Yeah, just go ahead and do it. Click the button and then watch one of the other videos. I'm watching.